Hi, in a previous video, we understood how to create feature file, why feature file is important, and how I can map all the steps of feature file into step definition class. In today's video, we'll understand how to implement parameterization and what is test runner class. So first of all, let's understand the scenario we are working on. As a tester, we would like to test login form. User must be able to enter valid username as well as valid password. Then clicking on sign in should navigate user to his or her account. So this is the scenario we have. Now product owner, QA and developer, they will sit together and discuss these scenarios and they will write down this scenario in the feature file. Let's see how we started. So first of all, we'll create a feature package under test Java. This is just the way how Maven organize the stuff. So that's why we are creating in SRC test Java. Precondition is your Maven project must be created. And in your pom.xml, all the dependencies must be added like Cucumber Java, Selenium, JUnit. These are the basic dependencies we must have in our pom.xml. I'll just show you here. So Cucumber, Java, Selenium, JUnit. These are the dependencies I have in my pom.xml. Although these are not enough, we will be adding some dependencies later also when we will be executing test runner. But for time being, just to execute step definition and your feature file, these are more than enough. So we'll go to test Java. I'm going to create package called feature. You can name it anything, just for the better understanding, I'm keeping it as feature. And inside this, I'm going to create a file. So feature file, other. If you get file option at the time of new only, I'll show you again. Let me just cancel this. If let's say after right click on this, new, you get file option over here, you can click on it. In my case, file comes in this option, other, I click on that. You can search file here also. So here I'm getting file, click on next. I'm going to name it as login.feature. So feature should be extension. So dot feature is the extension we are supposed to write when we are creating feature file. Once you click on finish, you will see automatically your feature file will get populated. Guys, this feature file is being populated because in the beginning, we added Cucumber Eclipse plugin from Marketplace. So this is also one of the precondition. You can add Cucumber plugin from Marketplace, which I've shown in my previous video. If you're not getting that, you can check the previous video. So now this is the by default template they have given you. All three amigos can sit together and they can write down these features over here. So according to your requirement, you can modify this template. So I'm just gonna use this part. I'm just removing this from here. And here title is login form. I'm going to remove this. And now I'll let you know what is tags. These tags also play a very important role in Cucumber, but we'll discuss that later. So here in scenario, I'm going to write checking functionality of login form. And given is my precondition. So my precondition is user must be on home page by clicking URL, and you can pass URL over here. So this is the URL I have. I'm going to copy this and paste it over here. I will be putting this URL in the description box also. If you think you want to test on the same application, you can use it. If you have any other precondition, you can use and keyword and write down the other precondition. So and is to give you multiple options. Let's say if I have more than one conditions, steps or outcomes, I can use and keywords along with it. So right now I don't have any other preconditions, so I'm removing it. My action is, action means steps you want to perform. So guys, I think that Cucumber or BDD approach is not just helpful for bridging gap between non-technical and technical stakeholders. It is helpful for technical stakeholders also, because it makes our job, our work so much organized, and it's so easy to understand even for the testers or developers to understand the code in very organized and simple way. It makes communication so effective, and understanding of project is so effective. Let's say, this project is going on in the company from last 10 years and we joined it. It's going to be so easy for me to understand the scenarios, whether everything is implemented or not, as a technical person too. So this approach, it actually gives life to the documentation. So here, in when you write the action you're going to perform. If I talk in testing terminologies, these are the steps you're going to write over here. So when represents your steps which you want to perform in order to test this scenario. So my step is enter valid username and password. I'm writing both in one. So enter valid username and password. So my another action is click on sign in button. So see, you can use and if you have more than one steps. I don't have any other steps, so I'm removing this. This is my outcome. So I'm going to check. So then this is your expected result in testing terminology. So then user must be navigated to his or her account. I don't have any other expected results, so I'm removing this. So this is my scenario to test valid username and password. So this is the feature file, and I have only one scenario to test it. If you have multiple scenario, you can again write scenario and write down your second test case, third test case, in simple words, second scenario, third scenario. So I will be showing you with one scenario first. Now, if you see, this is all non-technical. This is plain, simple English language, gherkin language. These keywords given, when, and then, these are gherkin keywords. But then this is not code. If I'll execute this, it's not going to go to my home page and enter valid username and password. This is something I'm written in plain, simple language. But as a tester, I have to map these steps into the coding also. So when I'm saying user must be on home page, I need to write code to get onto the home page. If I'm saying user must enter valid username and password, I need to write code to enter that. In order to do so, in order to map all the steps with coding, I will be using step definition class. So let's get started. I will be creating one more package here. So new package. I'm going to name it as step definition. Click on finish. Here I'll right click on it and create a class. I'm naming it as login and click on finish. As I've told you that I'm creating this step definition class to map all the steps written in feature file. But then it's so difficult for me to write it down here, that what are the steps. I need to go back and forth, and I don't know whether now feature file will accept it or not. So for that purpose, Cucumber made it so easy for you. We can execute this feature file first. So we'll run as Cucumber feature. And look at this. When you execute feature file, it will give you all the methods, all the steps which we have written in feature file in the form of method, which I can use in my step definition class. So I can copy these from here, from this @ given till then. I can copy this and paste it in my step definition class. Import all these keywords. So import given, import when, and we can import them. Now look at this, how organized it is. I know that first thing as a tester I need to do is I need to write code to get onto the home page. And here I will write code for the same. So I will write system.set property for your driver. And here I will first pass WebDriver dot gecko dot driver. In my case, I'm using Gecko driver, but if you're using Chrome, you can write down webdriver.chrome.driver. And here you will write down the location of your Gecko driver. In my case, my Gecko driver is in my project only. So I will be just writing name of it. So Gecko driver dot exe. If in your case, Gecko driver is somewhere else, you can copy that location and paste it over here. After this, so with this, my browser will open. But of course, my precondition is not to open the browser, it is to open the URL. So in order to open the URL, I need to use Firefox class method or WebDrivers method. Whenever you want to use methods of any class, you need to create this object. So that is what we're going to do now. So I'll write WebDriver. This is the reference variable. Assign new Firefox driver. And now I can import it. Import both of them. All right. I have created this object inside this method. So scope of this reference variable will be just inside this method. But if you see, I'm going to use this driver everywhere in my class. So I need to declare it globally first. So we'll take this part out. Put it here. So this is global declaration. Now I can use driver throughout my program. So this is done. Now I will open the URL. So driver.get, and here you can type URL and use this string. Let me tell you what it is. If you remember, I have passed URL in my feature file, and that is why it is coming as string over here. And when Cucumber made its method, it passed the parameter as string. So this value is passed to this string, and I can use it over here also. So now the URL which I passed in my feature file will be passed over here also. So this is done. My precondition is fulfilled. Now I will be writing the second step to enter username and password. So in order to do so, I will be writing all the code for username and password. So let's inspect elements first. So for username, my element is, I will be using ID as username. So I'm going to copy this. And I'll write driver dot find element by dot, and I'm going to use ID, and we'll put this value over here. Dot send keys. Let's say I'm passing Roicians here. Then driver dot find element, and now I want element locator for password. So I'm going to right click, inspect, and ID is password. And here I will write by dot ID, and I'm using password here, whatever the element locator's value is. Dot send keys, and let's say password I want to write is ABCD. So let's say password I want to write is Roicians at 123. So this is my password I want to pass. So this is done. I will enter username and then I'll enter password. Next is click on sign in button. So see how easy it is for you also as a tester to trace whether all steps are mapped or not. So here I will first of all inspect element locator for sign in button. So this is login. ID is login. And here I'll write driver dot find element by dot ID, and here I'll pass this value dot click. So this is also done. Now I need to verify, I need to fire the checkpoints whether my expected and actually same or not. So here I'll just take this thing out. And now let's see how to verify. So in order to verify, I'm entering Roicians as username, and I'll be entering password as @123. Click on sign in. So whenever we enter valid username and password, I want to verify whether I'm landing on the same page or not. In order to do so, you can pick up anything. You can pick up the current URL also. So whenever you will log in, your current URL should be this. You can also check whether this name is coming over here or not. So you can use any of these options. So I'm going to use this URL option. So I'll say, I'm just going to copy this and show you how we fetch it. So in my code, I will write that get the current URL. After these steps, get current URL. So get current URL. And I'm storing this URL in a string. So I'm naming it as actual result. Let's say actual result. And now I need to assert it. So I'll write assert equals, and I will be choosing string value here because it will return me string. So string expected and actual. In expected, I'm going to paste the same URL which I have copied. So it's going to be the URL after logging in. So this URL. So this is my expected, and actual is coming from this parameter here, actual results. So I'm going to copy this, paste it over here. So this is my complete code. So I will execute it and see how it works. You'll go to feature file. Guys, right now I have only one feature file and one step definition file. So I can execute from here. But if you have multiple features or step definition file, we must have test runner class, which I'm going to show you after this. So here we'll click on run as Cucumber feature. So see, it logged in and then verified. Let me see here. So here my all scenarios got passed, all 4 steps got passed, and it is mapping to each and every step. But if you saw, the login was so quick that it was difficult for us to see whether proper username and password was passed or not. So I'm just going to enter some wait event inside it. So I'll write thread dot sleep, although it's not a good idea to enter hard waits over here, but just for the example, I'm showing you how to enter the wait event. So I'm at throw declaration. That's all. Now I'll execute it again. So it opened the page, entered username, waited for 5,000 milliseconds, and then it entered. So this is how your feature file steps can be mapped to step definition steps. We did it already, but now I'm going to implement parameterization in it. So what I want to do is I want to pass multiple set of data into this username and password field. So I want that multiple username or multiple passwords should be picked from my table. I should be able to perform data-driven testing. So what is parameterization? Parameterization means for the same test case or for the fields, you're passing multiple set of data. How I can do that? First of all, I want to pass multiple set of data in this as well as in this. So wherever you want to pass multiple set of data, you will put that in conical brackets. So I'm going to put it like this, and I will put this also like this. So this is how you can tell Cucumber that I am using these 2 fields for parameterization. Not only that, you will be writing, instead of scenario, you are supposed to write scenario outline. Very famous interview question: what is difference between scenario and scenario outline? In scenario, you can simply write your steps, your given, when, then, but there will be no parameterization. But if you want to perform parameterization and pass multiple set of data, you need to write scenario outline instead of scenario. Now you might be thinking, where is the data which I want to pass over here? Will be going to the step definition file and writing it over there? No. We will be passing multiple set of data here only in the form of tables. For that, you will be using a keyword called examples. And beneath it, you will write down the data in tabular form. I'll show you how. First of all, you will use this pipeline, straight line, write down the name of column. So username, it should be exactly same. Again, pipeline, and second column name. Again, pipeline. Beneath it, I'll pass the data. So first is, I want to write down Roicians as username, Roicians password as data, as password. Then I want to pass Alan as username, and let's say password is James. So let's say these are the values I want to pass. I'm going to pass one more, let's say Selenium, and password could be WebDriver. Just randomly any data I'm writing over here. So this is how you can write down the data. But if you see it's not looking aligned, so if you want to align everything, you can right click on your feature file and click on pretty format. So it got aligned and visually it is looking good. So I'll go to my now step definition file, because yes, I made changes over here, but I need to let my step definition file also know that instead of now passing username and password, I'm going to pass multiple set of data. So for that, first of all, this username, you can pass regular expression here. I must recommend you to go through what are the different regular expressions. If you're passing number, then regular expressions are from 0 to 9. If it is character, A to Z, and very common thing, it could be anything. If you are strictly saying it could be anything, it could be combination of number, characters, or special characters, or if it is, number of characters, then instead of writing anything, you can simply write brackets dot star. So this star. This means instead of username, I can pass any value. And for password also, I'm writing the same thing. So dot star. Although there could be many regular expressions, guys, let me show you here. You can go to Cucumber regular expression cheat sheet, open this here, and look at this. These are the regular expressions we have. If I'm writing dot, one of anything, it could be either number, character, it could be anything. When I'm writing star, that means any character except a new line, let's say there is spaces, so 0 or more times, any characters in any repetition, it could be there. So any character with any number of repetitions could be there. So see, you can, when you're writing dot star, you can have A also, A, B, C, D, words with punctuation. You can have 1, 2, 3, hyphen, 4, 5, 6, empty string also. So this is your dot star. If you're using dot plus, then at least one of anything. So it could be anything, all of the above, except the empty string. So this is how the list goes on. These are some regular expressions. So if you want to read more about it, you can go through this cheat sheet. It is there in agileforall.com. So you can check it over there. Now, for my purpose, I'm using dot star in both of the sides. But this is one more thing you need to remember here is, whenever you are entering parameterization or your regular expressions, you must start after this inverted quotes, you must use this cap sign and end it with $sign. Now, this is entered. As you know, there will be arguments entered in this method now, because I will be passing string in both of the values. So here, the multiple set of values will be passed, but where to pass? Because in this method, there is no data, there is no parameters. If any value will be coming to feature file also, these two columns will be coming from feature file, we need to pass it in the step definition method, but we can pass only those things which are passed in the definition of method. So here I will be changing this also a little bit. I'll write string username. So it should be exactly same. So username, comma, string, password. Now, instead of writing here hard-coded values, Roicians or Roicians at the rate 1, 2, 3, I can simply replace it with parameter, that is username from here. So Control C, Control V, and password from here. So I'll write password. So let me check if the values are same here. All right. So I'm just going to change password to this and this to this. We are all sorted. So I've changed it according to the parameterization. Now let's execute our feature file. Run as Cucumber feature. So it will open my URL. It entered the username, waited for some time, entered password. It's going to again open the session, enter the username, waited, enter the password, sign in. Again, it entered the username, waited for some time, enter the password, and that's it. All my 3 scenarios got executed for the same code. So this is how you can implement parameterization. See, 3 scenarios passed, 12 steps were there. So 3 scenarios means 3 iterations were performed. So this is how you can do parameterization.